Hello, Thomas Malchow here. This video is all about getting you more club head speed. Now, a word of caution, this is a very advanced exercise. This should only be done if you've already corrected your postural dysfunctions as well as your movement impairments. Okay, so if you need help qualifying yourself for this exercise, please contact me. Also, in the workout that you are doing this exercise, I will assume that you've already done your release techniques, your corrective stretching, as well as your activation techniques. We want to make sure that we prepare your body so that you can be as successful as possible when doing this movement. I'm going to show you the exercise first, and we'll talk about the scientific rationale after. All right, so this is the staple of lower body power training. This is the box jump. I see this exercise done all the time. Quite often it's done incorrectly, so pay particular attention to the details, because if you do this incorrectly, you will not become faster, okay? So I have some guidelines here on how I want you to do this. I have 5 things I want you to focus on. The better you do these 5 things, the faster you will become. The 5 things are form, eccentric load, amortization phase, being fast, and landing soft. All right, so starting with form, we want your feet parallel and directly under your hips. Now, your hips are much more narrow than you think. Your hips are not out here. Your hips are under your anterior superior iliac spine, your ASIS, which is this bony prominence right here. Okay, if you have your feet out like this, which is what I see quite often, you're going to take neural drive away from your gluteus maximus and direct it towards the posterior fibers of your adductor magnus. That's going to reinforce faulty recruitment patterns that we've been trying to get you out of with all that corrective work. So get your feet parallel and under your ASIS. Now, with power training, we have to start talking about eccentric loading. Eccentric loading loads a muscle and the corresponding tissues with elastic potential energy. It's like pulling back on an elastic band, and then we use that energy to jump, just like letting go of the band. Okay, now to eccentrically load a muscle with elastic energy, we lengthen that muscle under load. So with the box jump, what I want you to do, feet under your ASIS, arms up, and you're going to bring your arms down as you squat down, and you want to time it so that your hands are at the bottom when you're at the bottom of your squat. Okay, so as I come down, up, arms up. And as I'm moving down, I'm loading my gluteus maximus, my quadriceps, and my calf muscles with elastic potential energy. So again, just practice getting that timing down. The next thing I want you to focus on is the amortization phase. Every power movement consists of 3 phases. We have the eccentric phase, where we are loading the muscle with elastic potential energy. Then we have the concentric phase, where we recover that elastic energy and convert it to kinetic energy or movement. And in between the eccentric and concentric, we have the amortization phase. The shorter the amortization phase, that is, the quicker the transition from eccentric to concentric, the more of that elastic potential energy we will convert to kinetic energy. That is, the faster we will move. Okay? The slower that transition from eccentric to concentric, the more of that elastic potential energy that our muscles will reabsorb and convert to heat, which is not of any use to us. So we want to practice spending as little time as possible at the bottom of our squat. Okay, so we'll get your feet under your ASIS, hands up, arms go down as you go down, arms go up as you go up, and now I want you to bounce at the bottom, spending as little time there as possible and converting as much of that elastic energy as possible to kinetic energy. The next thing I want you to add in is speed. Power is all about speed. That's what the point of all this is, right? So we have the biomechanics down. We know to have our feet under our ASIS. We start with our hands up. Our arms go down as we go down. They go up as we go up. And we bounce at the bottom, spending as little time at the bottom as possible. Now I want you to jump up onto the box as fast as you can, okay? And you can start to see how this all adds up. So here, The last thing we're going to add in is a soft landing. Landing soft will demonstrate that you have control. Okay? So we start with our feet under our ASIS. Hands are up. Arms go down as we go down. They go up as we go up. We're bouncing at the bottom, jumping up as fast as we can. Now we're going to land as softly as we can, heel to toe, being like a ninja. Okay? So up. And we stick that landing for 3 to 5 seconds. Sticking the landing will demonstrate that we have control. In sports, it doesn't make any sense to be powerful, but not in control. Okay? So again, so how can we progress this exercise? How can we make the box jump more challenging? Well, there are 2 directions we could take this, and 1 direction that I want you to stay away from. Okay? We could make the box higher, but keep in mind that we want to land at worst in a squat position and ideally in an almost straight leg position, moving down into a squat. Okay? The whole purpose is to increase your vertical jump, not increase your ability to flex your hips in the middle of a box jump. Doing that in landing in that position will just reinforce faulty recruitment patterns. Okay? We could also add in different planes of motion. Golf is a sport that requires athleticism in all 3 planes. So we could add in a frontal plane squat, which would look like this, as well as a transverse plane squat, which would look like this. We could also add in a single leg landing, which would look like this. And then we could add that single leg landing into the frontal and transverse plane as well. The one direction I do not want you to go is adding weight. Holding on to dumbbells or wearing a weight vest will just make you slower and train your tissues to move slower. The whole point is to become faster. So to recap, remember the 5 cues. 1, form. Get your feet parallel and under your ASIS. Don't let your feet turn out or your knees cave in when you squat. 2, eccentric loading. Start with your hands up in the air. Your arms go down as you squat and they go up as you stand up. You want to time it so that your arms are at the bottom when you're at the bottom of your squat. This will eccentrically load your gluteus maximus, quadriceps, and calf muscles with elastic potential energy. 3, amortization phase. You want to spend as little time as possible at the bottom. I want you to bounce at the bottom, making that transition from eccentric to concentric as short as possible. The shorter that transition, the shorter the amortization phase, the more of that elastic potential energy you will convert to kinetic energy or movement. 4, move fast. The whole point of this is to teach your nervous system to move as fast as possible. And 5, land soft. Power is nothing without control. You want to stick the landing heel to toe, stick the landing for 3 to 5 seconds. Okay? Now in regards to sets, reps, and rest, you want to do 3 to 5 sets of 4 to 6 reps, resting 3 to 5 minutes in between sets. So why would we want to implement the box jump into your training program? Everything we do is for a reason. We don't want to waste any of your training capacity. The purpose of the box jump is to improve your ability to load and recover elastic energy. We want to enhance your ability to convert elastic potential energy into movement. As you move through your backswing, your trail hip flexes, adducts, and internally rotates. And those joint actions eccentrically load your gluteus maximus and gluteus medius with elastic potential energy. As you move through your downswing, you recapture that elastic potential energy and you convert it to kinetic energy. And the more efficient you are at doing that, the higher your club head speed. The box jump, when done correctly, trains that efficiency into your gluteus maximus. It enhances your ability to convert elastic potential energy to movement. Simply put, When done correctly, the box jump will increase your club head speed. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching.